Hey guys, how's it going? So today I am going to do a review of Crystarise. Normally I would be doing my regular first impression reviews, but I have actually played around 5 hours of this game already, so this is not going to be a first impression review. This is just going to be a regular review where I will be playing the game for an hour or more, and as we play through the game I will be giving you my opinion on the game and highlighting what I already have discovered is good or bad about the game. If you are in a hurry and you don't want to watch the full 1 hour or more of my playthrough today, then you can simply skip to the last 10 minutes or so of the video. I will put a timestamp in the description below, and you can simply skip to that timestamp if you want to only hear my quick, concise, final opinion on the game and whether or not I can recommend the game. But like I say, otherwise you can just stay tuned and I will be playing through the game and I will be highlighting and showing what I have already discovered is good or bad about the game. And yeah, today we will hopefully be able to decide whether or not this game is worth the asking price, which is, I believe, $16. Let me just double check over here. Yes, $16 for the game. So first off, I want to show you guys something on the Steam page over here. So the game is from a Japanese developer, and the game has been out since April 28, 2023. So basically a year that the game has spent in early access so far. But one issue that I have with the game, and it's not really with the game, it's more with the game developer, is that the game developer's communication leaves a lot to be desired. Obviously, the first thing that should be concerning is the fact that the game has not received an update for 153 days. So basically 5 months that the game hasn't received an update. That's almost half a year that the game hasn't received an update. So clearly the developers update the game very, very slowly. Now, this is contrary to the normal thing that you would expect of a early access game. Usually early access games receive at least one update every month, I would say, normally. And this game now has gone 5 months without an update. So I was a little bit concerned that the developers might have abandoned the game, because I also looked on the Steam forums and you can see that a lot of the posts have 0 comments. So a lot of the posts are questions. Obviously, like I say, the developers are Japanese and a lot of the community is also Japanese, and a lot of these have 0 comments, like 0, 0, 0, 0, 0, 0. And then yesterday, 22 hours ago, actually when I bought the game, I made a post just asking like any feedback, like why hasn't the game been updated in 6 months? And to no one's surprise, I didn't receive a reply. I mean, 24 hours is plenty of time for any developer to reply, you know. I don't expect them to reply within in an hour or two, but bloody 24 hours, you know. So it's very clear that the developers are not active at all on the Steam forums, which is bad because they are marketing and selling and listing their game on Steam, and yet they are not active on Steam whatsoever, you know. So that just is not good, you know. It's not good to sell your product on a platform and then have 0 communication on that platform. So unfortunately, one thing with a lot of these Japanese and Chinese developers are that they will be active on other platforms, like especially with Chinese developers, they are active on Bilibili. If you don't know what Bilibili is, it's basically like the communication social media platform for China and a lot of other Asian countries as well. It's like Reddit almost, and there are communities for different products and different games and that kind of stuff, and a lot of the developers only communicate via Bilibili. It's almost like Discord as well, you know, and unfortunately, these developers, I don't even think they're active on Discord either. So I had a look at their Twitter, and they are kind of active on Twitter. I see here that they made a post basically a week ago. Although everything is in Japanese, it's good to at least see that the developers are active, at least. We can just translate over here, and they say basically that they are working on a version 0.2, which will be released in early June. So that is in a month's time, basically. So after 5 months of not updating the game, it looks like they are planning to release a update in about a month's time. But still, like I say, that's really bad for a game that is in early access to not receive any updates for 6 months. That's really, really bad. And unfortunately, I think it will definitely affect the player base for the game, the sales for the game, and also the confidence of the people who have already purchased the game will definitely be lower, because they don't have a responsive developer. The developer is basically silent on the platform, on Steam, and that obviously affects the confidence of any purchasers and any potential purchasers as well. I'm always cautious when I spend money on Steam when I buy an early access game, because there's no guarantee that the game will be continued to be developed. I've bought probably, I would say, maybe 10 games in my life, early access games, that just completely stopped development. You know, for some reason developers just thought that they weren't getting enough sales or whatever, and just completely stopped development, and you don't get that money back. You know, if you have more than 2 hours of playtime, or if you've purchased the games more than 2 weeks after, then you can't get a refund on Steam. So that has only happened basically like 10 times, and that's not too bad considering that I have like 1,500 games on Steam, you know. So 10 games isn't so bad, but still it does happen. And I just wanted to inform you guys about this thing regarding the developer, in case you are a little bit dubious. I've already done the research, if you can call that research, and it seems like the developers are still active. So even though, like I say, 6 months without an update, that is not good. So anyway, let us continue with the review. I'm a little bit sick, so my throat is a little bit not good. So I hope that I will be able to push through without any real issues. So the first issue that we have is the fact that you cannot change the resolution of the game at all. Holy shit, it just changed. Like literally this morning, like yesterday morning, I purchased the game and it was on full screen and I couldn't change the resolution. And now all of a sudden I can change the resolution. What the hell? Okay, so apparently you can change the resolution. Let's see if you can put it down to 1440p. You see, now it doesn't want to. Yeah, you see that issue is back. So literally you can't change the resolution. I'm literally clicking. Now I changed the resolution, but now it doesn't want to change back. So what the hell? Can we use the keys? Nope, we can't use the keys to change the resolution. Now the game is on a resolution which will not look good at all. I will probably have to restart the game and try again, because like now you see here, it doesn't want to change. I'm literally clicking. The frame rate doesn't want to change. Like the game is still in early access, obviously, but fucking hell, the fact that you can't even change the resolution or the frame rate is really bad. Like I'm clicking here, nothing is happening. So that is the issue that I wanted to highlight. And now, as you can see, the resolution was changed and now you can't change it anymore. So clearly there are some issues with the game. Let me just restart the game. I'm gonna do it while I'm talking. I don't care. What the hell? Come on. Clearly there's some kind of an issue with the mouse. Like the game is very much a controller port, like a console port. And so the mouse optimizations or the mouse implementation isn't 100%. It's not particularly good, to be honest. So that is another thing that is not good. You know, if you're gonna sell a game on Steam and you don't explicitly say that keyboard and mouse is not supported or implemented, then it better bloody work with a mouse and keyboard, you know. And the game is playable, but as you see, it's definitely not 100%. So you see now I can't change the resolution at all. I'm literally clicking here. Let's see if I click around the thing, like I can't, it doesn't allow me to do anything. I'm literally clicking like all over the place and it's not doing anything. Doesn't matter where I click, it's not doing anything. So yeah, you see that clearly there are some issues. And if you like, the keyboard doesn't work. Like I'm pressing enter, I'm pressing space, I'm pressing up, down, left, right. There is no keyboard controls while you are in the menu. You have to use the mouse. So yeah, it's not particularly good. And now we are playing on a resolution which is not my normal desktop resolution. So unfortunately, the game, if I can't get it to run at the resolution that it was, then the game will not look good. You might not be able to see it very well on the recording, but the game is stretched. It's definitely stretched now. And it's not allowing me to do anything. Like you can change here. Oh, no, you can't even change here. Okay, there we go. So you see the mouse does function, but you can't change a lot of the stuff. Like, seriously, you can see here is the gamepad stuff. That is why I say that the game is a console port. The game is originally developed on a console. And now, unfortunately, you have very bad implementation on the PC with the mouse not even functioning correctly. Like I'm clicking everywhere, nothing is happening. And the keyboard doesn't function at all in the menu. So obviously that's an issue. Okay, let me restart and see if I can change it through Steam settings, because you can actually force a particular resolution on the Steam settings. So I will try that quickly and then I will be right back. Okay, so the game, I had to force it to run on Steam with launch options of whatever 3840 by 2160. So it's still not showing correctly over here. It's showing 4096 2160 when it's actually running at 3840 2160. So that is my native desktop resolution. So as I'm showcasing here, the game's mouse optimization is really bad, because you can't even select anything over here. You can't even change your resolution right now. You could change it to windowed by using the launch options on Steam. So you set your resolution on Steam, and then you add the argument for windowed. I believe it's a dash or hyphen, whatever you call it, windowed. So hyphen windowed. Then the game will run at windowed mode, because right now you can't even change it from windowed mode at all, from full screen mode at all. So you're seeing that the game, it has issues with display, and the keyboard doesn't do anything. There is no keyboard implementation in the main menu at all, which is weird, because the game actually does run relatively well on a keyboard when you're actually playing the game. So anyway, that's a big issue. Can't change the frame rate, can't change the display options, can't change the resolution, unless you go and screw with the Steam options, the Steam launch options. Otherwise than that, there is no options for graphics at all. So texture quality, character quality, environmental detail, anti-aliasing, depth of field, nothing like that. There's no graphical options whatsoever, which obviously is bad. Now, the game does run relatively well. Like, if we actually jump into the game, if I can just get the bloody thing to click correctly. So this is the actual game. Right now, while we are in this place, even though this place isn't very graphically demanding, right now the game is running at 120 watts of power usage. So 120 watts of power usage on my 3080 RTX. That should give you a rough estimation of how demanding the game is. Basically, it's not very demanding at all. It's really not very demanding at all. You should be able to run this game on a pretty old graphics card, something like 960 GTX, 1060 or a 1070 GTX, anything like that will run this game totally fine without any issues. So the game is not very graphically demanding, but still, like I say, you cannot change the options. Okay, now why is the thing... You see, this is now an issue. The game is not aiming where my mouse actually is. And this is not an issue that was in the game previously. Previously it was okay until I changed my resolution at the beginning of the video today, and now I'm not even aiming where I need to aim. Let's see, if I alt enter, nope, still the same, and I can't change the resolution like this. So you see, this is an issue. For some reason now the game has freaked out, and it's not, the mouse is not in sync with the actual thing. So you can see, like, if I go here, like, I'm not even hovering over the thing over there, and it's triggering the options. So there's something really bloody weird going on right now. And wait, I just had it. Just saw the thing moving. Come on. Ah, there we go. Haha. Okay, there we go. Now it's back to normal. Even though my mouse is showing, my mouse shouldn't be showing. The mouse normally doesn't show here, but it's an early access game. Like I said, these things hopefully will be fixed. But yeah, these are things that you need to take into consideration when buying an early access game. But yeah, anyway, let's get into the actual game. So if I can best describe the game, it's a isometric twin stick shooter with a lot of collection mechanics. So you collect a lot of resources over here, a lot of different resources that you harvest from the island. Well, not from the island. This is the island. The actual world, let's go to the world, let's teleport. The actual world is the place where you harvest the resources. So a little bit of lag, but it doesn't take too long. The first time you phase into the world, there's a little bit of lag, but after that you can go back and forth pretty quickly. Let me show you. Once the textures are actually loaded in, you can see it's pretty quick, and then if you want to go back, you see, it's pretty quick. It takes like 5 seconds. So anyway, this is the world, and the other place is the island. So on the world, you harvest resources. So you attack stuff like this, and then you pick up the stuff. So you have a left click ability, which is the gun over here, left click. And you can shoot and you can move while shooting as well. And you can jump around while shooting as well. And then your right click is a sword attack, a sweeping sword attack. So it's like a little bit of a mix between a twin stick shooter and a kind of a collector type game. There are also enemies that you can attack, a lot of different enemies, and you just basically run around, kill everything, loot everything, loot resources, and your resources and stuff that you gain, you then use to buy new buildings. Now, the game doesn't have experience, even though it has a little bit of an RPG system with the building and that kind of stuff, but you don't have equipment, and you don't have leveling, and you don't have skills per se. Like, you don't have skill leveling, even though you can change your skills. I will show you guys that later on, but you can change your skills here at the bottom. Even though I've only unlocked one skill so far. Like I said, I'm about 5 minutes into the 5 hours into the game, so I haven't really unlocked a whole lot of stuff. I've just basically played enough to the point where I know exactly what the game is all about and that kind of stuff. So yeah, anyway, you just run around, destroy everything that you encounter. You get wood and stone and grass and food. That's an important thing over there. We want to kill that thing as quickly as possible because they are pretty rare. There we go. So yeah, you just run around, destroy everything, kill everything, loot everything. You get resources from all of these different enemies. You use the resources from the enemies and the resources from trees and stones and flowers to build new buildings. And the buildings are the things that make you more powerful. You don't gain any power otherwise. Like I say, that there's no experience in the game. You can't become more powerful through grinding levels or anything like that. You literally become more powerful through harvesting more resources and building buildings with the resources that you have harvested. That's basically the name of the game. So there is a gigantic amount of collection that is going on. Let's just teleport back to the base quickly to get new quests. You have quests over here on this board. You receive them and then you choose new quests. Unfortunately, you can only take 5 quests at a time, which is really stupid in my opinion. I don't know why the developers chose to limit it to only 5 quests. It's really irritating actually. Let's see, is there anything? Oh, we can build this thing. That's pretty good. Is there anything else we want to build? So you see here, like all of these are buildings, and when I hover over them on the right side over here, it changes. It basically gives you a preview of what the building will do, and then you hover over all of these things, and it gives you a short description of what each of these different modifiers will add to you. So this is how you become more powerful. You build buildings, and these are the resource requirements. So we can build this building. It's going to make our left click 3 levels stronger. It's going to give us HP when we defeat any enemy, which is really nice. It's gonna increase damage against fluorite type enemies, which are these flower enemies, and item drop rates from plant enemies is increased. So we're gonna do placement, and then we can place it over there. I already have one of them, but we're gonna place it over there as well, and boom, now we have those added bonuses to our character. So that is how you become more powerful. Literally, all of these things here at the side, all of these things are added through the buildings. So that is how you become more powerful. Like literally just now, the building that I built gave me +3 levels to shot actions. And in total, with all of my buildings together, I now have level 29 shot actions. So that gives you an idea of how you become more powerful. I have 12 maximum HP ups. You actually start the game with 3 hearts, and right now I have 5 and a little bit hearts. So from the start of the game I've gained 2 hearts basically. So that gives you an idea of how you become more powerful. All of these buildings are adding to the strength of your character. You can also make your island bigger. You actually start out and the island is basically this big, just like this. It's not very big. And then all of this here at the edges I have added through building. So you go over here, you say edit your island, and then you can add to your island. I don't have enough of the blue resource right now. I actually need to get more blue crystals, and then you literally make your island bigger 1 square at a time. And obviously you use the size increase in order to build more buildings. You can't build more buildings if your island is fucking tiny, so you constantly have to increase the size of your island. So that is basically the core game loop of the game. You go out into this world, you collect items, you collect resources, you kill enemies and pick up their resources, and then you use those resources from the harvesting and from the enemies in order to build more buildings, in order to gain more bonuses from the buildings that you have built. That is literally the entire game. So it is very much a collectathon type game. You collect like a mother in this game. It's like just constant collecting because you don't gain experience at all. So literally everything is dependent on you collecting a whole bunch of bloody resources and then spending it on buildings. That's how you get more powerful. There are different zones, like right now we actually just crossed into a different zone. So the light green zone on the minimap is the beginner zone. the dark green zone is a little bit more difficult zone. You encounter a little bit more difficult enemies in this zone. And then there is a ice zone, which is really difficult. There's a desert zone, which is really difficult. There is a pink zone, which is really difficult. It's the most difficult zone that I've found so far. And yeah, that's basically it. There's like 10 different biomes, but only really 5 different biomes, if I'm being honest. But according to the game, there's 10 different biomes. Oh, and there's a water biome as well, where you encounter water enemies. This is a boss encounter. Let's see. Okay, so this is gonna be a boss battle. There are different bosses. Bosses are quite powerful. Let's see if we can beat this boss. Where is it? Yeah, this boss is actually not too difficult. We should be able to defeat him without too much effort, but still, we must be aware of our surroundings. Okay, now he's gonna jump into the air. Ouch. And he's dead. Yeah, so that wasn't too difficult, but I am pretty powerful at the moment, especially for these beginning bosses. These beginning bosses I shouldn't have any real issue with. And then once you've destroyed a boss like that, you summon the boss with crystals, rare crystals. Like these aren't the normal crystals, but you get a bigger rare crystals like these over here. Topaz shard, I have 23 of them, 21 of those, 3 of those, 7 of those, 3 of those. And each different color of crystal, or shard as they call it, summons a more difficult boss. So what I just fought there is the easiest type of boss. Literally the easiest type of boss. So as we go through the game, we will collect different colors of crystals, or shards as they call it. And we will use those shards to summon progressively more difficult bosses. That's basically how you progress through the game. Oh, here is a very difficult area. Magenta, you will see some enemies have either nothing before their name, or they have magenta before their name, or they have cyan before their name. You get different colors, and the colors signify how difficult the enemy is. So these are magenta enemies. They are actually really difficult. As you can see, they go down after many shots. So these are yellow bat swipes, so they're very easy. But you get magenta bat swipes, you get cyan bat swipes. So the color that comes before the name of the enemy very much influences how powerful an enemy is. These guys are really powerful. I have never been able to defeat one of them. Look at that. I do 1 damage to them, so I will not be able to fight those. That's actually one thing that I don't like about the game. I would say it's probably the thing that I like least in the game. As you see there, I'm doing 1 damage to this enemy. So I don't like that in the slightest. The fact that the game has a really stupid there's a cayenne enemy, so that's basically a level 2 enemy. It's just above yellow, like it's yellow, cayenne, magenta, and so far magenta is the most difficult enemy that I found. It's basically a level 3 enemy. But like I say, some of the more higher level enemies, like those 2 that I just fought there, have such really fucked up damage scaling that you do 1 damage to them. Like, the damage scaling in the game is really bad. Like this guy, I do 70 damage to him, and yet I do 1 damage to those magenta enemies. So the scaling in the game is just really bad. I do not like that type of scaling. You unfortunately see it in a lot of bad games where it's like an artificial difficulty modifier that is added by the developer. So they say, no, if you don't have this thing or that thing, then you're gonna do fucking 1 damage to this enemy. And it's just complete bullshit. Instead of making you still do 70 damage to the enemy, but simply increasing the health of the enemy, you know. So those magenta enemies, whereas these normal enemies have, like, let's say 200 health, those magenta enemies should have whatever 2000 health or whatever. But no, the fucking developers made it so that the enemies have still got around 200 or 300 health, but you do 1 damage to them, which is just idiotic. It's a really idiotic way of doing damage scaling in a game. I hate it. Every game that it is in is just, it's so irritating. So you literally cannot even try to face those enemies because you do 1 damage to them. You will literally have to shoot them 300 times in order to kill those types of enemies. Whereas if the developers just followed a normal, logical type of scaling, damage scaling, like instead of the enemies having 300 HP, they have whatever 2000 or 3000 damage, and you still do your normal damage, then it would still require an inordinate amount of effort to kill those enemies, but it at least would be fucking possible, you know. Like right now it's not really possible to fight those enemies because they do a large amount of damage, and you have to shoot them like 300 to 400 times, which is just not good. It's like nonsensical, the amount of times that you have to shoot those bloody enemies, considering that these quote-unquote normal enemies, I shoot maybe 4 or 5 times and then they're dead. So that is one thing that I very much do not like about the game. Here's another boss. This is probably going to be a level 3 Jello boss, so let's go. So this one is going to be a little bit more difficult than the previous one. You see, like this boss, if I try to go and fight a boss which is quote-unquote beyond my skill level, then I will literally be doing 1 damage to it, instead of the boss just having triple or quadruple the amount of HP that this boss has. They instead make it so that the boss has the same amount of HP, relatively speaking, but it has it takes 1 damage from your hits, which, like I say, is just the most idiotic type of damage scaling. I mean, you can't even call it damage scaling. It's literally just artificial game difficulty. It's really stupid in my opinion. Okay, so we killed another one, and we have now got a yellow crystal. Good stuff. That is used to craft very rare buildings. So that's good. But we won't be able to summon another one. I only had enough crystals to summon that one. So we will have to farm some more yellow crystals before we are able to summon the level 4 Jallow boss. Even though I'm not sure if there's a level 4 Jallow boss. We will have to see. Little bit of lag there. The performance of the game overall is very good. Like I said, you should be able to run this game without any real issues on a pretty low-end graphics card, like a 960 GTX or a 1070 GTX, anything like that. But yeah, it does stutter sometimes. But yeah, overall the performance of the game is good, and it's not very demanding at all. You will probably even be able to play a game like this on a relatively low-level laptop, as long as the laptop has some kind of a dedicated GPU. You should be able to play the game without any issues. There's another cave over here. Caves are very nice because they give a treasure chest at the end of the cave. So it's a nice way of getting some pretty rare resources. There's some magentas over here. Okay, let's teleport back quickly. Just see what else I can build, maybe. I should be able to build a new building or two. Also given my quests. But like I said, the fact that you can only have 5 quests at a time is really dumb in my opinion. Glowing seed. I'm not sure what that is, but let's go for it. And then we can collect over here. We can collect over here. There's a slight farming aspect to the game as well, even though out of probably 30 buildings that I've built so far, only 2 of them have this farming aspect to them. So you don't get a lot of farming buildings, basically. Buildings that generate resources. Oh, health regeneration. That's nice. That's the first one of those that I've gotten. And it's the first purple minion that I've gotten. All of my other minions so far have been white, like normal white. This one is purple, so that's actually a step up. That's the very first minion that I've gotten that is not your regular white color. Let's see what we can build. Oh, level 2 health regeneration. We definitely want that. So let's go for that one. Placement. Wow, this is the first 3x3 building that I have encountered. Let's make some space over here maybe. So edit your island, and then... Oh, I don't even have enough to build it. Okay, so yeah, that's going to be an issue. I only have enough for 1 blue. So I'm going to have to place this somewhere. Not really an ideal location. I would have wanted to place it like maybe here or something like that. I don't know, can you move buildings? I've never actually tried to move a building. Not sure. Can you move them? Oh yes, you can move them. Okay. I wasn't aware of that. That's also a very good one. I want to build that one as well. So we're gonna place this here, just basically temporarily. We will move it later. That gives a nice bonus. Item vacuum, health regenerate is really good. Item collect is really good. And then this one over here. Ooh, what's that? Oh. This one over here will also be very good. Damage to wood is very good. Jallow Slayer is very good. Anything else? Yeah, we can build this one. So yeah, you guys get the general idea of the game, the name of the game. Yeah, you just collect a bunch of stuff and then you come over here, spend all of your resources, and then you go back into the game. You teleport back to the world and you rinse and repeat. That is really the name of the game. Let me just take a drink of coffee here. Down there is the pink area. The pink area is the most difficult area in the game that I've encountered so far. So we will go over there in just a second. I just want to show it to you guys at least. These are nice because they give you crystals. Oh, another thing that I do not like about the game is the fact that you lose crystals when you die. I do not like games that punish you when you die. Like, it's okay if you are playing a game where you have selected hardcore mode, you know, like if you're playing whatever, Path of Exile hardcore or Diablo hardcore or anything like that. Like, it's fine being punished if you asked to be punished, you know, if you're playing on a hardcore game mode or something like that. But this game punishes you every time you die and you lose your crystals. And crystals are really important. It's literally what you use to build your island. So you lose resources, you lose your crystals, the yellow ones, the blue ones, and the purple ones, which are very rare. You lose every time you die. You don't lose all of it, but you lose a percentage of it. So that is another thing that I don't like. There is no difficulty options or anything like that in the game that would allow you to turn that off. You know, it is enabled by default and you cannot turn it off at all. So yeah, that's another thing that I do not like. It won't really affect you as long as you don't die, but let's be real, you are going to die in this game. I've died twice in the game so far, and yeah, it just feels really, really shitty losing resources. I do not like losing resources. I am a player who very much prefers a lasting progress. That's why I don't like roguelite games. And unfortunately, like I say, in this game, you don't have a choice. You will lose resources when you die, and there's nothing you can do about it. This pink area is a rare, well, it's not a rare area, but it's the highest level area that I found in the game so far. So there are really high level enemies here. In fact, there's enemies here that I can't even kill yet due to the fucking idiotic 1 damage thing that I already spoke about. There are enemies here that I cannot even think about attacking because I do 1 damage to them. Like that boar over there, I cannot even think about attacking that boar because I do 1 damage to it. That one as well. I can't even think about attacking that one because, once again, 1 damage. But I can still run around here and loot what I can. Oh, that one is rare. You see, 1 damage. 1 fucking damage. It's so stupid. I'm gonna hit you that way. There you go. And then they explode into loot. So I'm just gonna run through the zone and collect what I can. I'm not going to be able to kill any of the enemies, really. I can kill those ones, because I do extra damage to fluorite type enemies. But there's no way I'm going to be able to fight that one there at the bottom, because I do 1 damage to them. But these fluorites I can kill at least. Oh. There's a bat over there. I can kill the bat, but I can't kill the boar. No, no, no. Go away. Go away. Shit. Ouchies. Bloody hell. Come back here. I hate those bloody things because they... Ouchies. No, 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 no. If I die, I'm not going to be happy. I almost bloody died there. Those magenta enemies do not fuck around. And like I said, it is absolutely fantastic that I only do 1 damage to them. I really, really, really love the fact that I can only do 1 damage to them. I don't think I will be able to build anything new right now. We can spend a little bit. We can buy 5 new spaces. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. That should be fine. And then I want to move this one over there. Like that. Then can we build anything new? We have a couple of new buildings, but we can't build anything new yet. There's a bunch of these items, these buildings that require some really, really rare resources, which some of them I haven't even encountered yet. So there's some really nice buildings that I would want to build, but I don't have the required resources yet. I guess we can build this one, but I don't really have the space, to be honest. Ooh, Ghost Slayer. Holy shit, okay, Ghost Slayer. That's actually a very, very important one that I've been looking for a while, actually. Because there are these ghosts that steal, they're called ghost steals, and the ghost steals literally steal your resources. And up until this point, I haven't been able to even damage the bloody ghost steals because you do 0 damage to them, literally 0 damage. As I said, through the insane damage scaling that the game has, there are some enemies that you do 1 damage to, and there's some enemies that you do 0 damage to. And the ghost steals, like these over here, up until this point, I have not been able to kill. So now, I can finally fucking kill them. Like, literally, I've been playing for 5-6 hours, and this is the first time that I have been able to actually fight those bastards. So that's fantastic. And they drop a special type of resource, which I also have not been able to acquire up until this point. So once again, we just made a big step forward in the grand scheme of things, just because we got that building, and that building now is allowing us, or enabling us, to kill the ghost steals, which we have not been able to kill up until this point. So we will no longer just be running away from the bloody ghost steals, because literally that's what I've been doing for the past 6 hours, just running away from those bastards because I can't kill them. Die. And they literally, if you bump into them, they steal your resource. They choose a random resource, it seems, and then they run away with your resource. Like, it is so irritating. So you don't want them to bump into you. But as we get more powerful and as we build new buildings, we will be able to deal more damage to these guys, and we will eventually be able to deal more than 1 bloody damage to a lot of these enemies. Like, even this bat, like, I'm doing 8 damage to it right now. There was a time where I dealt 1 damage to these bats, but because I've gained a couple of other buildings, I've built a couple of buildings which increase my damage to beasts specifically. I now can deal more than 1 damage to them because they are a specific type of enemy, because a lot of the buildings increase your damage against a specific type of enemy, like the ghost steals or the boars or anything like that. But I'm still doing 1 damage to these bloody boars. Bloody hell, that one just disappeared. That's the first time that I've seen that. This yellow circle that I'm putting down on the ground is my shift ability, so I press shift to get that, and it basically puts a little place on the ground that lasts around 10 seconds, which gives me sanctorium, whatever you want to call it, against enemies. But it only lasts a small amount of time, and the enemies cannot enter the circle, and their projectiles cannot enter the circle. So that's one of the abilities that I unlocked a couple of hours into the game. All of the other abilities you start with, but that is the one ability so far that I have unlocked through actually playing the game. But there are more abilities that you will unlock later on as well. Oh, this one is rare. They are really rare and they're like a treasure goblin almost. They run away and they if you shoot them you get some crystals and stuff like that. And they also drop fairy wings, I think, which are also pretty rare. I actually want to go back to that pink area in order to see if there's more ghost steels over there. Oh, that's a very rare one. This one is very rare. There we go. It's good that he didn't get away, because they sometimes get away, the bastards. There's a cave there at the bottom left that we can go and do. I need more of these green stones. They only appear in this difficult zone. They don't appear anywhere else. So there are some resources that you only get in these difficult places, like where the magenta enemies appear and stuff like that. I have no hope of defeating that bloody thing. But I want to go into this cave, even though it's going to be a very difficult cave. The different caves in the different zones, like you get the green zone, you get the snow zone, you get this zone, there's a desert zone as well. The relative level of the enemies that you encounter, like these magenta enemies, they also appear in the caves. So if you have a zone that has magenta enemies and you go into a cave, then the cave will also have magenta enemies. So the cave will be very difficult. That cave in particular will be very difficult. But they also contain good resources. So what I've done in the past a couple of times is just go into the cave, avoid all of the enemies, and then loot all of the rocks and other resources that are in the cave. So I don't kill any enemies in there because I literally can't, because they have I deal 1 damage to them, and then I just loot whatever resources are in there. So this thing, yeah, I won't be able to summon this. This is a very, very high level thing. Ouchies. Won't be able to kill that bastard. Okay, we can go into this cave and then go to the top right to that other cave which I mentioned previously. This is the water zone, by the way. This is the first time you guys are seeing the water zone. Let's go to our island quickly first before we go into this cave. Some quests. We can do the ghost seals. Oh, a bunch of new buildings. Oh, that one is fantastic. Definitely gonna take this one. We can do these ones, I guess. I need more space over here. Oh shit, star. Okay, now I need a bloody star. Where? I think I got a star previously, but I think I spent it as well. So I got a star, but I also spent the star. So which one was it? Wasn't it one of these buildings over here? Yeah, you see now the issue is I can't increase my my place anymore until I get that star. Which sucks. I mean, I can use my existing area still, but I won't be able to increase it until I get that other thing. Holy shit. Cayenne star. Like, I don't think I've never gotten a Cayenne star. But holy shit, look at these. Increased collection of Cayenne jewels. Increased top rates from ghosts. Holy balls, yeah, this is a very, very powerful shrine. I do want to build this. I'm just gonna have to build it in a place where I normally wouldn't build. But we can move the stuff later on, I guess. We need all of the shot damage that we can possibly get. Okay, so that's fine. I think we're ready for the cave. This cave should be easy, but the other cave is going to be quite difficult. This is a low-level cave. Yeah, this one is low level. Easy peasy. Got a couple of good items. Yeah, we're getting very good items here. Holy shit. Such a low level cave, but then we actually get very good items. And then we can go and try that one at the top. Yeah, we can't face that bastard. This one also will require high level shit, yep. Can't do that. We can collect more stone. I need a lot of this stone. Where did I just hear that sound? I heard a whatchamacallit, one of those rare ones. Where was that? Just up here. Nope, I don't see it anywhere. I heard the sound, but I don't see it anywhere. Because those little fairy things make a specific sound. Okay, so this is going to be a difficult one. I'm not sure if I will even be able to do it. These boxes sometimes explode, so yeah, like that one just exploded. So you always need to be careful when you attack those. You need to keep your distance because they can explode and they can kill you in 2 hits. So if you're a little bit low on health, then they can kill you. Otherwise, they will kill you in 2 hits. All of these resources are nice, rare resources. That one is very rare. Holy crap, this one. These give blue crystals, and nice amount of them as well, even though, as we now saw, I can't even upgrade. I can't even use it to upgrade my base anymore because I first need to get a yellow star from fucking somewhere. Oh, here's another one. Holy crap. I'm gonna have more than enough blue once we actually get the yellow star to upgrade my base. Because at the stage where I am now, I use blue and purple and yellow. Ouch. To upgrade my base. At the very beginning of the game, you only use yellow to upgrade your base, to increase the size of your base. But like I say, where I am now, I have to use all of the colors, purple, blue, and yellow, to increase the size of my base. And it's nice because it encourages the player to not just stay in one area and farm one area. You know, you have to get blue crystals from the blue zones, purple crystals from the purple zones, and yellow crystals from the yellow zones, which are the beginning zones. The yellow ones are basically beginner zones. Ouch. Fucking 44 damage. Holy balls. That's a lot of damage. This heartstone over here will increase my health, so that's nice. Go over there to the left as well. Holy shit. That bastard, I'm gonna do 1 damage to, I think. So that's gonna be probably unkillable. And if I'm being honest, the bosses are also probably gonna be unkillable. Because I do 1 damage to them. Thanks to the absolutely moronic damage scaling that the game has. So this is probably going to be another one of those where I just harvest what I can in the dungeon and then leave the dungeon without actually completing it. At least we have gotten a lot of blue crystals and stuff like that, which is good. There's another one. I will eventually reach the point where I have enough damage to kill those bastards, but right now I can't kill them with 1 damage. This dungeon is massive. Normally they're not this big. Like normally a dungeon is anywhere between 5 rooms and maybe 10 rooms, but bloody hell, this thing is already, I would say, at least 20 rooms big. A very, very big one. Not that I'm complaining. Oh, shit. Because the bigger the better. Am I right, girls? But it's just weird that it's so bloody big. Shit. Yeah, those projectiles also go through walls, so there's no hiding from that bastard. Also, another issue with the game is the fact that there's no map. Like, literally, there's no map. You can't, like, see the entire map. You only have your mini-map. So, if I wanted, like, if I got lost, for instance, and I wanted to see the entire map right now, there's no way to do that at all. So, that is another shortcoming, unfortunately, in the game. Okay, so let's see if we could just run past this bastard. Ouchies. Oh, shit. Yeah, I'm gonna do 1 damage. 2 damage. Wow, so we've gotten to the point where we can do 2 damage to these bastards. Ouchies. Yeah, no, I'm not gonna be able to beat this boss. So I'm just gonna leave. I can't... those balls do like 30 damage each. And they are quite undodgeable because they go through walls. So yeah, like I can use this ability once, but then after that I have no protection from the boss for like whatever 15 seconds or whatever when the cooldown comes back. So yeah, it's just an unwinnable battle. It's one that I'm not even gonna attempt. Oh, there it is. Now the bloody thing is over the water. And I travel slowly over the water. Okay, this is dangerous. Yeah, no, that bastard got away. I don't know where that bastard went, but yeah. Oh, there he is. these are actually a bunch of good florets that I can kill. Cayenne florets are relatively rare. I can kill these charcoals, but charcoals are very difficult to kill. Like, they move really fast and they're just overall really irritating to actually kill. Ouchies. Yeah. We will go back to the base in just a little bit. Ah, whoa, ho ho. Rare chest. These are really rare. Like, I found maybe 2 of them throughout the entire game so far. Even though we get shit. We can go into this cave. Oh, there's another one. Yeah, there will definitely be some new stuff that we can build when we go back to the base. It's also like I said with a map, in dungeons it's not like the end of the world if you don't have a map, you know. You should be able to find your way back to the entrance again without a map. But even here, like in the overworld, in the actual world, you don't have a map, and that's really ridiculous because the game is open world and it's very big. Like, the map is really big. You can believe me when I say it's really big. So good fucking luck finding like the quote unquote start of the game where you started. You know, it's nigh on impossible just because of how open world the game is, you know. So the fact that the game doesn't have a map is pretty bad. Okay, what can we actually place? That's not bad. Life drain. Oh, that's pretty good. And it's not too expensive, so we can build that one. We definitely want to build one of these. Increase our HP a little bit. And then we can build this one. Don't really have enough space for it, but we will just have to deal with it for right now while we don't have that yellow the yellow star. Once we get the yellow star, we can start expanding our base again. But until then, it's not really gonna be possible. Okay, so that's not bad. We increased a bunch of stuff. We still can't increase because we don't have the yellow art star, whatever you want to call it. What's this? Oh, color change. Yeah, I already have that. Ooh, a similar place over there. Okay. We'll do this one. This one will be easy. Like I said, you get different levels of caves. This one is a level 1 cave. A bit of stuttering there. Not all of these caves have bosses at the end. Some of them, the chest is just in the open like this. I don't know if it's a problem with the procedural generation, because I'm pretty sure these caves are procedurally generated. But yeah, I found it before where some of the caves just don't have bosses. Normally, like 95% of them do have bosses. And then you're supposed to defeat the boss. After these, like these torches, the boss will spawn, and then you defeat the boss, and then you get access to the chest. But as you see here, it's not the case here. So I think it might be an issue with the procedural generation that the developers use. So this one had 2 bosses. Oh, and another chest. Holy shit. Okay, so this one had more than 1 chest. That's the first one that I found that had more than 1 chest. Even 6 hours into the game, you can still encounter stuff which you've never encountered before. Okay, where do we want to go now? Like I said, it's really irritating that the game doesn't have a map. Like, honestly, the game really needs a map. A game like this, like, you can compare this game a little bit to something like Crashlands, for instance. Crashlands is a really fantastic game that is similar to this game, like open world, obviously. Just a collectathon of resources. Like, you just fucking collect resources left, right, and center, and then you use the resources to build buildings and all of that kind of stuff, and to increase your character and all of that stuff. So this game is very much like Crashlands in that aspect, and Crashlands has a map, because it's like, really, it would be ridiculous to play a game like that that is so open world without a map, because you would get lost like a motherfucker. And this game doesn't have a map. Like, it's really a little bit ridiculous, even though there isn't like, I guess I can say, landmarks or points of interest in this game, really, like there is in many of the other games like this, you know, like Crashlands, for instance. So there's not really like a specific building or a specific zone or anything like that where you must go. But there are like these things, like let's say you want to go do something else, you're not ready for this, so you want to go away and maybe come back later. Good fucking luck finding this place again, because the game has no map, so there's no way to mark anything like that. Like, it's just impossible. You will never find this fucking place again unless you are very, very meticulous about your movements. Like, if you continue to move north, for instance, and then say, okay, when I want to find the place again, I have to continue to move south, for instance. But that is a really, really unreliable way of navigating in this game. So yeah, one of my biggest issues is the fact that the game doesn't have a map. Like I said, another issue is the fact that when you die, you lose resources, and there is no alternative. Like, there's no difficulty options in the game, or you can't turn off resource loss or anything like that. It's literally, by default, you're gonna lose resources when you die, and there is nothing you can do about it. So I don't like that. It doesn't make the game very accessible to certain players, like myself, for instance. The mouse implementation, like I said, leaves a lot to be desired, and then the game has no keyboard support in the menus. So in the menus, there's no keyboard usage at all, which obviously is not good. As I showed you guys in the first 15-16 minutes, that can cause a lot of issues. So yeah, that's not good, but hopefully the developers will implement keyboard support before long. But yeah, right now it's fucking like literally there's no keyboard support in the menu, even though the game plays well. Like, there's no issues with the keyboard usage in the actual game. It's just really weird that they chose to not do any keyboard implementation in the main menu. And that obviously causes issues, as we've said now, where clearly the mouse sometimes, under certain circumstances, can lose track of its actual position. And that could have been fixed if you were able to use the keyboard to navigate in the main menu, but you can't. There's no keyboard usage, so it just makes a problem, yeah, an even bigger problem, and it would have been fixed if the game just had keyboard support. Okay, a little bit of stutter there again. You do get those stutters every now and then, but honestly it's negligible. Yeah, what else? I despise the damage scaling in the game, like I've already explained. The fact that you do 1 damage to certain enemies is just fucking terrible game design. A really, really bad game design. It's just a really lazy way of doing damage, artificial difficulty, through just purely reducing the damage that the player does. It's just really lazy, and I don't like it one bit. Instead, the developers should just increase the health of the enemies. Instead of reducing the damage of the player by 99.999%, they should instead just increase the damage of increase the health of the enemies. Let's do another boss. Hopefully we can get a yellow star on this one that we need. Okay, this is a Gel Lord level 4. So it's going to be a little bit more difficult than the previous ones that we faced. But yeah, honestly, I don't think there's any other real issues that I have with the game. Like, the damage scaling is a big issue because it affects you throughout the entire game. The fact that the game has no map is a big issue because it affects you throughout the entire game. The fact that resources drop on the ground is a big issue because it affects you throughout the entire game. So yeah, it's really big issues, and it is constantly affecting the enjoyment that you could possibly, ouchies, have with the game, you know? But honestly, all of those things taken into consideration... we got a yellow crystal. I think I can still recommend the game for $16. Like, all of those things taken into consideration, I can still recommend the game. Now, if those things were not an issue, if those things were not present, if they were fixed by the developers, like the mouse fixed, the keyboard fixed, the map fixed, the dropping of the resources on death fixed, the damage scaling bullshit fixed, then this game would be a bloody fantastic game. Like, really, really. Like, I can compare this game to Crashlands. If you never played Crashlands, it's a really, really good game. Very, very similar to this game. It's not as open world as this game. This game is fucking open world as you can get. Like, you can't really get more open world than this. Right from the beginning of the game, you can go where you want in this game, and I really like that. It's the definition of open world. So Crashlands isn't as open world as this is, but other than that, like, Crashlands is a really, really, really fantastic game. Wow, we got a lot of good stuff there. And yeah, in Crashlands also, you run around like this. It's basically a top-down isometric twin-stick shooter type game. Crashlands has a little bit more of an RPG feel to it because you have stuff that you can equip on your character, whereas in this game there's no equipables whatsoever. You literally gain all of your strength from the buildings that you build. So Crashlands is a little bit more RPG focused. Yellow zone. Oh yeah, that's a desert. It's actually a difficult zone. And yeah, Crashlands is just really fantastic. I don't really have much bad. These are really rare. I don't really have anything really bad to say about Crashlands. It's really quite a good game. I'm sad that they stopped development on Crashlands. I really would have wanted to see more content from the developers of Crashlands, but anyway, what can you do? But yeah, like, if you haven't played Crashlands, if you don't like this game for whatever reason, like if the negatives that I've already listed are too bad for you, then definitely I would recommend that you check out Crashlands. There are other games similar to this and similar to Crashlands, but honestly I think Crashlands is pretty much the golden standard when it comes to these types of games. And yeah, like I say, like, the developers are still working on this game. If they fix the stuff that I've mentioned, then yeah, this game would be very, very, very good. Like, I don't give games scores or anything like that, but this game would be right up there, like close to a 10 out of 10, you know. Obviously, there are very few 10 out of 10 games that are actually 10 out of 10. Because you can always say, well, the game wasn't long enough, or the game didn't have enough of this, or the game didn't have enough of that. You know, you can always say that. Like, in my opinion, Final Fantasy IX is one of the best games ever made, if not the best game ever made. And even in Final Fantasy IX, which, like I say, is the paragon of games, in my opinion, even in that game, I would have said, well, the game was too short, and you didn't have enough character customization, and, you know, blah, 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 blah. So, no game can ever really be a 10 out of 10, in my opinion, because you can always add more stuff to it. You can always go bigger and better. But yeah, if those things were fixed that I've mentioned, then this game would be a really good contender to basically be a 10 out of 10 game. It just really depends how much end game content there is. I've now played probably 7 hours in total with the game, and I've only collected 1 crystal so far. Literally 1 crystal, and you get the crystals from the boss battles. So this Jal Lord that we just defeated, we defeated the tier 4 Jal Lord. You get the crystals from those. So the next crystal you would get from the next level of boss, which will be obviously a much more difficult fight than the Jal Lord boss, for instance. Oh, that's a good one. We can do that one. We can do that one. We can do that one. Let's just see what we can build now. Oh, and we can also expand our island finally. Over there. And now we can use the normal stuff again to expand the island. That's good. So it was just that one that required the yellow star, and then after that you can now use normal stuff to expand the island. And I'm sure that once we reach a certain point, then we are not gonna need a yellow star, then we're gonna need a bloody cayenne star or a purple star or whatever, magenta star. So the game will reach certain points like that that we just reached, where it's gonna require you beat a certain boss in order to expand your island further. But now, fortunately, we are past that first point, and we can now start expanding our island further again. So that's good. And we should also be able to place a whole bunch of new buildings over here. Look at all of these new buildings. Vision range up, health regeneration, ghost slayer, all of those are fantastic. That just gives you more regeneration when you use consumables. Not good, not good. That's good. In fact, we will build that one right away. That gives us more health. Health regenerate, that's very good. And yeah, that's not so good. So yeah, I'm still gonna have to get 3 yellow crystals for this one, and then gold stone, which I haven't gotten a single gold stone. So there's still a lot of stuff that I haven't even encountered yet, and I'm 7 hours into the game. So clearly the game has a lot of depth and end game content, even though I'm not even past the mid game yet, I would say. Like, yeah, magenta crystal, haven't found any of those yet. Golden eggs, haven't found any of those yet. All of these, ghastly core, haven't gotten that. Cayenne crystal, haven't gotten that. There's a lot of stuff that I still haven't even seen yet. Never mind collecting bloody 10 of them, for instance. So yeah, and now we have a little bit more health thanks to this crystal over here. So yeah, guys, honestly, the game has issues, but the game is still in early access, and I hope that the developers fix all of the stuff that I said. The game has only been in early access for about a year, and bloody well 6 months of that year they haven't even released an update for the game. So development clearly is going slow with the game, but I always say that I recommend a game, well, I evaluate a game based on what the game is right now. Like, I don't give two shits about the future, you know. If the developers are asking $10 right now, then the game better be worth $10 right now. If they're asking $100 right now, then the game better be worth $100 right now. It doesn't matter if the game is in early access, doesn't matter if the game has a roadmap. A lot of roadmaps never become reality, so I've learned that roadmaps cannot be trusted, developer statements cannot be trusted. The only thing that can be trusted is what the game is right now. In what state is the game right now? How much content is there? How much polish is there? Can the game run? Is there a good amount of content in the game? All of that kind of stuff. And so honestly, right now, the game is absolutely worth $16. Like, I've already gotten 7 hours out of the game. I think you will probably easily be able to get 15 hours or more out of this game. And for $16, I think that is very much worth it already. And yeah, then after that, after the fact that the game is worth $16 right now, after that you can say, okay, well, I might purchase the game right now and then just wait until the developers release the game fully. You know, I've done that with certain games in the past where I don't necessarily play the game that much. I might play an hour or two, like after doing my review, for instance, and then just leave the game until the game is fully released, because you don't want to get burned out on a game. This is absolutely a game where you could get burned out. Like, you could go through the entire game, you could collect all of the different crystals and then just stop playing in the game, and then the game is still in early access. You know, the developers are still gonna add a lot of stuff to the game, but then you already basically completed the game, you know. And I try to avoid that whenever possible. So but yeah, like I said, honestly, all of the issues taken into consideration, I think the game is worth $16 right now. It's actually a pretty nice game. I don't have any huge complaints other than the stuff, like I said, with the difficulty option and the dropping of loot on the ground and the bloody stupid damage scaling and that kind of stuff. So yeah, guys, I actually look forward to the next big update that the developers are releasing after 6 months of not releasing any updates to the game. I really hope that it is going to be a big update, because bloody hell, 6 months of not releasing an update. I hope it's going to be a good update. But yeah, otherwise than that, I will just keep an eye on the game to see when the game actually fully releases, in whatever, a year or 2 or 3 or whatever. And then when the game actually fully releases out of early access, then I will do another review, a full non-early access review on the game again, to see how the game has progressed, and to give my final evaluation on the game as a whole. And the price of the game will probably also increase by that time, because that's what a lot of developers do. They make the game cheaper during early access, like whatever, $15, whatever. And then when the game fully releases out of early access, when it's the full release version of the game, then they push the price up to $20 or $25 or whatever, you know. So if the price increases of the game, then my expectations of the game also increases. So if the developers are going to push the game to $20-25, then my expectations of the game is also going to increase as well. So yeah, guys, that's pretty much it. As I said at the beginning, I bought this game with the money that I get from Patreon. The developers didn't send me a key or anything like that. So this game is made possible by you guys and my Patreon supporters. So if you want to see more reviews of indie games like this that nobody else is really covering, then your support on patreon.com/LFP is massively appreciated. I would not be able to do these types of reviews and buy all of these games that I do if it wasn't for your support. I spend on average probably $200 to $300 per month on games for reviews. And that's something that I wouldn't be able to do normally if I didn't have your support on Patreon. So your support directly allows me to do more content and make more videos for you guys. So if you want to see more content, then that is the best way to support the channel. So yeah, guys, that is pretty much it. Thanks a lot for watching, and I will see you guys next time.